The trial of a man accused in the death of a Smith County Sheriff's deputy is being pushed back. Daniel Nyabuto was set to go on trial beginning Monday. But today, his attorney told the court due to a delay in getting evidence from the state, they will not be ready.
All right.
Judge Kerry Russell walked into court this morning with a banker's box full of documents, many of them motions filed by attorneys representing Daniel Nyabuto, charged with intoxication manslaughter for this crash last July that killed 29-year-old Deputy Lorenzo Bustos.
He was trying to better the world, one bad guy at a time.
With trial set to begin Monday, Nyabuto's defense argued they received evidence from prosecutors after the deadline, and as a result, won't be ready.
But we can't go forward on May 1st because we just received Congressman's large amount of evidence that we didn't have time to go through.
Prosecutors argued they were at the mercy of other agencies like DPS when it came to getting some of the evidence requested, and told the court while the defense may not be ready, they are.
As we stand here today, we're ready. The only thing that we have an issue with is accident reconstruction. We have it ready to proceed.
In the end, the judge granted a 90-day continuance. There was also a motion asking for Nyabuto to be offered bond he could make due to what the defense says was a delay caused by the state. Prosecutors and the judge disagreed. That motion was denied, meaning Nyabuto will remain in the Gregg County Jail until trial.
And among the other motions filed by Nyabuto's defense, one requesting a change of venue because of widespread media coverage. That motion is still under review. The judge has given both sides 5 days to look at their calendars for another possible trial date.